I think this is going to put a nice little interesting mix to it all. Takeshita beats the Rainmaker and is up in the air who will be the new Continental Champion, as opposed to the interim Continental Champion. But yes, your New Japan Champion will be the man heading into the finals for the Continental Classic.
I thought this was going to be the final, to be honest. And it confuses me because that was kind of set in stone, having that as the final. In one level, it makes it, on some level, it makes it intriguing because they can go in a bunch of different directions now. There's the obvious path of keeping the belt on Okada, and there's, also keeping it in the Don Callis family, and then there's also putting it on Mox, which is the least likely. I mean, Okada's held it for so long, but it is a risky man's game betting against Okada on an AEW pay-per-view. Oof. But they got to pull the trigger now. Surely, Takeshita needs to beat him. So, yeah, I'm going to go with my heart, man. Like, my head says Okada, my heart says Takeshita. I'm going to follow my heart. Konosuke Takeshita to win.
I'll pick Okada because I always pick Okada. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. Plus he's against Takeshita. Yeah, that's right. I would always refer to him as that. I don't care what anyone says. Even if I meet him, I might say that and then get a chop or a slap, and then hey, you get a chance to fight back. But nah, Okada, because it's Okada, isn't it? And it's not just Okada, it's Okada, bitch.
This is a very hard match to determine. Very, very hard match. I mean, I would have wanted this to be the final, and I think everybody would agree that this would be so interesting if it were the final. The one little thing that kind of makes me pip to one side other than the other side of the fence is that Okada is the two-time Continental Classic champion. He's not been defeated in this tournament, and as much as there's a rivalry in that match in itself, even without the belts, there's a rivalry in there somewhere. And I think the only way it carries on is if Okada wins. It's easy for Konosuke Takeshita to win and go on because that way you're guaranteed a new classic champion, and it could be either against Jon Moxley or Kyle Fletcher. But I think it makes it interesting if the reigning defending champion goes to the final again and then the shock happens. It could happen here, but I'm going to just inch. I could be wrong, but Okada for the win.
This match right here is worth the price of admission alone. It's like what I'm basically going to be tuning into this pay-per-view to see. For me, this is probably their best pure wrestling match that they have. We're talking about Takeshita versus Okada. A match that's been in the making for many months, and I can't wait to see it. As for who wins, Okada has been unified champion for a long time, and I just feel if you want to push Takeshita to the next level, he has to beat Okada. They can continue the feud afterwards or whatnot, but right now I feel it's Takeshita's time. Takeshita will finally beat Okada, dethroning him of his unified championship, robbing him of the opportunity for the Continental Championship. So yeah, Takeshita.
Relating to my previous video, the fall of Jon Moxley, which will result in him being a babyface, is in full flow at the moment. For that to be a thing, it obviously, it requires Moxley to lose a lot to be the sympathetic babyface. So Kyle Fletcher's going over here. Moxley to lose, Kyle Fletcher to win.
I'm going to go against the grain because I always pick Jon Moxley. I bet this time he end up winning. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go against my grain. I'm going to pick Kyle Fletcher because, yeah, I hope his name is Kyle Fletcher, not Keith Fletcher. I keep saying his name wrong. But I'm going to go with not Jon Moxley to win this because he's just been letting me down. So I'm going to go with Kyle Fletcher to win.
This is another kind of a hard match to determine because you've got John Moxley and then you've got Carl Fletcher. The only way I could swing it is to say that John Moxley has like pretty much won championships. He's pretty much established, and it's easier for him to go ahead and win. And yes, he could win by nefarious means, but then I think the rest of the group, the Death Riders, will be busy that night. So unless Puck gets involved, but for some reason, I just think because of the run that Carl Fletcher has been on, I know he lost his TNT championship, but nonetheless, in order to put him on that run, you've got to make him win this one, right? I mean, what better to have him in the final as a possible winner of the Continental Classic against Okada or Takeshita, in which case I think in order to really show as a definitive champion is to beat the reigning holder, Okada. So I say Carl Fletcher for the win.
This one's another tough one because again they're telling the story with John Moxley at the moment. Like he's sort of going through this phase where he's not winning every match like you would think he normally is. Yeah, he's lost a few times in this Continental Classic, but he's sort of powered through. So it could either go one of two ways where he powers through to the final, and this was his sort of his comeback story. But then it could also go with him taking a loss to someone who he feels he shouldn't lose to, continuing this prolonged story, which might lead to him being actually ousted as the leader of the Death Riders. So we'll see where that goes. But again, he's against Kyle Fletcher for me, who pound for pound's probably been the best in ring wrestler this year. So who wins here, man? I'm gonna go with Kyle Fletcher. I feel it's his time. He deserves it. Yes, it'd be nice to see Moxley win again, but he doesn't really need to at this point. He can challenge for any title, win any title at any point. It wouldn't matter. But win Kyle beating John, that really would matter for him. So yeah, Kyle for the win.
The only member, the only person, the only qualifier who's not in the Don Callis family, right? All odds should be against him, but I'm going to go with it. John Moxley to beat the Proto-Star Kyle Fletcher. That's a last-minute decision. I actually thought Kyle might be the one, but let's go for it. The bleeding man himself, John Mox, to move forward.
It's crazy not to pick the two singles champions to win because Athena and Monet has got an amazing record together. But at the same time, you have to go for the champions to keep it. And Monet and Athena could just miscommunication because they're not a tag team. So it could be a case of miscommunication from them and set up another match for them to go up against in singles. But yeah, I think Willow Nightingale and a tag team partner, I think it's Willow. You know what? Just make it easy. Say this. Athena and Monet is not going to win. The other team's winning. It's bad to say like that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What's interesting about this match is that Athena has gone for the world title and she's lost. Mercedes Moné has gone for the world title twice and she's lost. Babers Wrath are the inaugural tag team champions, but they've not been doing much with those tag team titles, if you ask me. Yes, they just recently won it. Yes, it's good that they will always be the inaugural tag team champions and no one can't take that away from them. But I think Athena and Mercedes Moné would do more with those tag team titles more than the Babes of Wrath. And as much as they could be an upset, I don't know. I mean, are you gonna have you're gonna have Mercedes Moné lose a third title match on the row? I don't know. I don't think so. Now, I could lose this point, but to me, I just think there's a more interesting angle if Mercedes Moné and Athena won the titles. And I think it would be more interesting if they have the clash when they're the champions, so that when they do clash, they lose the tag team titles. So therefore, I might lose the point, but it will be very interesting to see Athena and Mercedes Moné as the new tag team champions.
Wow, what a title defense the Babes of Wrath have, man. But I don't see them dropping so soon, even to Athena and Monet. And it's crazy that we live in a world where I have to bet against those two. The woman with about 25,000 belts walking around behind her, and also the longest champion pretty much in the industry at the moment, Athena. So, hey, It's a tough one, but I still don't see it Cameron and Willow just losing the belt straight away. So I'm gonna go for Rafa Babes to retain.
Multi belts Monet is on a bit of a decline, isn't she? So really, the theory should be that she should be continuing to lose. But I like the idea of her holding the title with Athena, so I'm going to go for Mercedes, Monet, and Athena as your new AEW World Tag Team Champs. I know I'm wrong, but gonna vote with the heart. And hey, Sasha Banks has always done me wrong anyway. Yeah.
Low key, Harley Cameron is one of my favorite women's wrestlers at the moment. She's so talented. She's not the best in ring, but she's got such a multitude of cool talents that I've got. Oh, there's my daughter, not having her on camera. Yeah, she's so multi-talented, and I do worry though that because the hype train is so high on Mercedes Moné and the Ultimo Moné thing, which is such a terrible gimmick, like it's insulting to anyone with more than 2 brain cells of intelligence. It's an absolute joke because most of those titles aren't actually titles. Owen Hart tournament title, looking at you. But I do worry because of the hype train also surrounding Athena, who's now longest reigning women's champ ever. Oh, I worry they're going to put the belts on them, but I'm going to bet with my heart here, and I'm going to say Babes of Wrath to retain. Ooh.
What I find funny is that this guy had just finished climbing Mount Everest and he's back in the thick of the matches already. And then the last time I checked and I looked at Dynamite, my guy was being thrown down the stairs. I mean, it was kind of almost like a Mick Foley moment sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It was crazy. But you got to give this guy a break, man. Like, let him get into a match without him being thrown down the stairs, for God's sakes. Yeah, that was pretty deep. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of comeback for that. I mean, why would he come back and then lose this match after getting beat down like that on national TV? Crazy times. Again, it's no disqualification. It's a normal match. It's not like there's no DQ in it or anything else like that. So I find this very hard for him to win. But then why would Gabe Kidd come out of nowhere and get the win over Darby Allin, who's been on a run recently, although he lost his last match? But I think he's got to get some comeback here. Darby Allin for the win.
Allen versus Gabe Kidd will be an interesting one, man. I mean, yeah, both are about violence. Both are about some crazy hijinks in the rings. Well, Darby Allin's gone through all the Death Riders. Why not go through their accomplice as well? Actually, no, he failed with Pac, didn't he? But yeah, I don't think he's gonna fail again here, especially with someone who don't even really work with the company. So yeah, I've got to go with Darby Allin for the win. Gonna be a crazy match though.
I genuinely don't even know the last time that Gabe Kidd was seen on AEW TV, so I'm going to go with the obvious, Darby Allin for the win.
I do like both of these wrestlers, even though I owe Gabe Kidd a real life receipt for actually punching me in the face at a Rev Pro meet and greet. Fun story, he actually did hit me, and you know, it was unintentional. He still hit me. So that man is owed a receipt in real life. Gabe Kidd, if you're watching, you're owed. As I said, I like these two. I don't fully see the point of this, and to me it just stinks of this continuous loss of Darby Allin in the shuffle. I don't know where they're going with Darby at the moment, and he was supposed to come back and be the next big thing. So yeah, I don't get it, but I guess Darby to win because he got thrown down the stairs. So yeah, Darby Allin to win.
Yeah, I'm picking Gabe Kidd to win. Simple fact that without Sting, Darby's just a glorified stuntman. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I'm going to be like Ric Flair talking to Mick Foley. You're a glorified stuntman. Literally, you just jump off stuff and hurt yourself, or you jump backwards. The coffin drop is a dangerous move. And I don't care what it is, where it's meant to be unperformed. But yeah, I can't pick Darby to win, so I'm going to stick with the other one. All right. Kidd, Gable, whatever his name is. Yeah, that's his winner.
Death Riders versus the Conglomeration with special guest Tony Storm. And because of that special guest, I can't really see the conglomeration losing, even if it is against the Death Riders. But yeah, I'm gonna go the conglomeration and Tony Storm for the win.
So it's going to be a good night for one person in the Death Riders, but not the rest. So I'm going to go for the Conglomerate to win, sadly, and the Death Riders to lose this one. Conglomerate for the win, and let's see how far Mox goes.
Mixed Nuts Mayhem, I guess we're still pushing ahead with this whole Death Riders thing. It needs to be done, I suppose, because the end result is Moxley going to be turning face. So it's important that the Death Riders as a group without Moxley do keep winning, so that when he does turn face, there's that smack diddly do, and the babyface heat is there for him. So yeah, as a result of the medium to long term booking, I'd say that the Death Riders win this one.
Yeah, I picked Death Riders because I always pick the Death Riders. As you can tell right now, I'm not feeling too good, but I'm making my prediction just for you. So yeah, Death Riders to win, because why not pick them? They've been dominant this year. They've lost a couple of times, but mainly dominant, so I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going with Death Riders to win this.
This is another tricky match because any side could win. Death Riders, sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. Quite recently, they've not been winning a lot of matches. And in this group, you got the conglomeration, which includes the new TNT champion in Mark Briscoe. You've also got Timeless Tony Storm in there with Marina Shafir. And I'm thinking that she's going to want to get some payback for what she did to Mina Shirakawa. So for that reason, especially as you got them together as a group now, I think there's a story to tell here. So the conglomeration for the win.
I'm going against my heart. This one I want to go bang bang baby, but yeah, I'm gonna go for FTR to still be your AEW tag team champ. Sorry boys, it's just not the right iteration of the tag team out there. So yeah, FTR to continue holding tag gold in AEW.
I mean, look, we don't need to dawdle here. It's obviously going to be FTR to retain. It's a depleted Bang Bang Gang. It's not even the proper Bang Bang Gang, is it? Although I do love Juice Robinson. I hope that the surprise return on this pay-per-view is Jay White. God, I miss that guy. I want to see Jay White back. So yeah, FTR to win. And then hopefully the lights go dark and Jay White's back. Fingers crossed. But yeah, FTR to win.
As much as I know FTR's going to win, I'm not picking them. I would eat the loss for this one, and I'm not picking FTR. It's Bang Bang Club, whatever they call. I'm going for them because they're going up against FTR, and I don't want FTR to win, so I'm going against the one. I'm going for the one that's going to win it, which is Bang Bang Club, not FTR. Yeah, that's my pick.
Now this match is going to be interesting because I swear it's the first tag team title match for the Bang Bang Gang. Although it's not the original two with the guns, you still got an interesting run for these two. At the same time, I think it's just the first tag team title defense of FTR. So for that, they've only just won those belts as well. And there's not really been any storyline to them defending them belts just yet. I think they defended them once, and they obviously won that one. And I think that was on Dynamite or Collision, one of the two. But again, there's not really been too much of a build-up with this storyline. So again, like I said, we all know how the first tag team title defense goes when somebody wins it. So for that case alone, whether there's nefarious means or not, FTR will retain the AEW World Tag Team titles.
Gotta be honest, I can't really see FTR losing titles so soon after just getting them back. And not to this rendition of the Bang Bang Gang. Sorry, I just don't feel it's there yet. Like, hey, you never know. Might surprise us, but I don't think they're the team to dethrone FTR's latest reign, so FTR.
I do worry that Tony Khan has cooled his energy on Jamie Hayter, which is a damn shame. I thought she was a really good champion, to be fair. But since she got injured, there's just so much women's talent that's come into the main roster, she almost feels like a woman out of time at this point. And historically, I have found out the hard way that betting against Chris Statlander on a pay-per-view seems to be my kryptonite. So I hope that doesn't come back to bite me in the backside this time. I'm going to go with Chris Statlander to retain here.
I say it once, I say it twice. You always vote for Chris Statlander. There's no reason not to. If you don't, you're stupid, because come on, she always wins. Until she doesn't. But yeah, Editech's always going to pick Chris, and I'm picking her again. I haven't seen any build up towards this match, but let's see what happens. And yeah, Chris Statlander I'm picking. That's what we're going for.
This is another interesting match because the way Jamie Hayter has been going on, it's like real heel tendencies, you know? She's been given those heel vibes, and obviously she could turn heel. She could do like what Kalani Jordan did and obviously smash her with the title and then win the belt that way. But then obviously Chris Statlander, no one thought she was going to beat Toni Storm, and she did. And she retained in the rematch as well. So, you know, that being said, she's giving real strong championship vibes here. Now, I think the turn would make more sense if, obviously, Chris Statlander was to retain. She goes to shake her hand, and then you get the heel turn. And I think that would make more sense. And this may not be the first match between these two. I think there's a real rivalry going on here. But obviously she's been on a very incredible run. She's been on a very good run. I'm satisfied with her title run as well because they're not overdoing it. So Chris Statlander to retain the Women's World Championship.
You know, this is actually going to be a sleeper match. Like, one of the best out of the night, man. Because Chris is great, Jamie's great, and they're going to put on a match that basically proves to the world why they deserve to be here in this spot. As for who wins, I still think it's too early to take the belt of Chris, yeah. So Jamie Hayter will put up a valid fight, and not unless something crazy happens, like some random swerve or something. But I feel Chris Statlander for the win.
Seen both of these women perform at Eve. However, there is one champion and one former champion, and I believe she's still going to be champion. So here we go for the victory. Chris Statlander, still your AEW Women's Champion.
Once again, Okada's on the card again, so I'm going to go with Okada to win because my prediction's hoping for is Okada versus Kyle Fletcher. So with that, Kyle Fletcher, I keep saying his name wrong, but it doesn't matter how I say his name because the winner is going to be Okada.
Now, this is what makes the final really hard because given my predictions, I think it's going to be Okada versus Kyle Fletcher for the Continental Classic final. It would be interesting if the reigning defending champion goes all the way, although it would be a shock if he were to lose prior to that match in the semi-final. So it could be Takeshita against Kyle Fletcher, in which case it would be one of them contenders for the match of the year. But at the same time, you got to let the reigning the champion go all the way to the end, and then there'd be a shock. It kind of brings more of a climax to the end of that tournament. And I think that we're in for a shocker here. We've got a new Dynamite Diamond Ring holder, and we could have a new Continental Classic holder as well. He's done it twice in a row. It would be interesting if he went on for a third time, but I think you got to kind of change it up now. And it would be interesting to see Kyle Fletcher go on to bigger things. So, Kyle Fletcher for the win of the Continental Classic.
So, this for me is legitimately the toughest match of the night because who actually wins this Continental Classic? It doesn't help we don't actually know who's in the finals yet, but at the same time, I'm picking Takeshita and Fletcher to be part of this final. And it's going to be a banger match. Now, my first impulse is to say that Takeshita's going to win this. But then at the same time, Kyle, man, he's on the rise. And I think Okada might screw Takeshita for beating him. So, Makes it difficult, man. Makes it difficult. But I'm gonna probably go with Kyle Fletcher to win from Takeshita getting screwed by Okada.
Continental Classic final, and I'm going to go for John Moxley to be your new Continental Champion. I think he's going to beat, not Okada, Takeshita. He's going to beat Takeshita. Takeshita will go forward and still be your New Japan champ, and John Moxley will be a champion again, and this time will not be using a briefcase to hide the title. So yeah, Mox for the win.
So overall final, based on the way I voted, would put it Takeshita versus Kyle Fletcher. So, I mean, if both of these guys aren't even in the match, I suppose that eliminates me entirely. I don't know how AJ is going to evaluate that one. But I think it would stand to reason that if the guy you picked, the two wrestlers you picked to be in the match aren't in the match, then I guess you don't take part. Unless there's the off chance that only one of them is and that guy ends up being the winner. It's too complicated. I've gone cross-eyed and I'm wasting time. I'm sorry. Takeshita or Fletcher? This is the definition of a coin toss. And I'm already 45 seconds in and I'm no clearer where I'm going. Screw it. Put the belt on Takeshita.
This is a hard match for me to determine because you've got a casino gauntlet cash-in with MJF, which I forgot all about, by the way. I forgot he even had that. But then usually on a cash-in like Money in the Bank, 8 or 9 times out of 10, it's usually successful. But then you've got Samoa Joe's first title defense, his second title reign, and I don't think it would make much sense for him to lose it so quick. I know you've got Hangman Adam Page and Swerve in there, but I think that's the thing about the Fatal 4-Way, the champion is protected. And in this sense, as much as there's a gauntlet cash-in, I think it's too easy for him to just come in and just take the belt just like that. And I've not seen a world title change hands that quick. They could go with it here, but then what justice does that do for Samoa Joe? We all wanted Joe as champion in the dub, and now he's a 2-time champion in the AEW, and I think you got to make it hard for him to lose that title this time around. So, still, your AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe.
Now, this is like pretty difficult. This one is, man. Fatal 4-Way, I mean, every single man in that match has a claim to win. Every single man in that match could win quite easily, and no one bats an eyelid. It wouldn't be random. It would make sense for each one of those men to win. Yeah, and like, I don't think Joe was ever supposed to be a champion that holds the belt for a long time. I think they did that to keep things fresh and exciting, and to be honest, it worked. So, like, where do we go from here? I would think since MJF is having to cash in his chip or whatever, I'm gonna take a chance and go with him, for the win. I'm not sure on that. I'm not confident on that, but I'm just gonna say, look, if he's cashing in his casino gauntlet thing, what would be the point, of him doing that unless he wins? So, yeah, I'm gonna go MJF for the win.
Fatal 4-Way for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I'm going to go MJF, and believe it or not, I think my theory is going to be the Hurt Syndicate. That it was just a bit too much of a start-stop situation. I think it was all a part of a ruse, and this is how MJF is going to do it. Why else would you insert yourself in what was already 3 men in the title shot as opposed to just 1 man? MJF is your new champion because he's going to have people who hurt people. MJF, your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
So it was the introduction of MJF that made this interesting. I probably would have picked Samoa Joe to retain here were it not for Max's entry. And where that leads me with the thought process, because it's not going to be Swerve or Hangman to win here. I'd love to see Swerve with the title again. Not yet. Where it leads me with MJF is either there's dirty politics afoot, and they've done the cash in for him to lose as quickly as possible on the basis that they've got no intention of putting the belt on him. However, that was epic babyface heat he had when he just came back. And I think Samoa Joe is a placeholder champion. Kind of going with my heart, but I also think it's logical. MJF should win, and I think will win here.
I'm in two minds on this one because I want to say Samoa Joe because, I'm a big Samoa Joe fan. But also, I want to say MJF because it'd be stupid for him to cash in and then nothing happens. You know what? Coin flip, catch, boom. I'm going with MJF just because he's cashing in something. And it'd be a waste of time. And they use Samoa Joe quite a lot as a transitional champion. So I think they might do that again, and transition for Samoa. But if Samoa Joe wins, I wouldn't be upset. But I'm going with MJF to take this.